I love the headdress there. I don't know if you realize you were wearing it.
I did realize I was wearing it. I didn't know if you realized you sent it to us because it's signed from Lars. We have a whole, you sent us
a whole
this.
thing. Great.
This, I mean, the goodies that we got. So when I get junket swag, see, I wear it.
My son has that microphone and annoys the crap out of us by singing into it constantly throughout the house. Yeah.
I can't wait to share it with my husband then. I'm very excited about that.
Multiple options there that you can annoy your husband.
Oh, this is great.
42 countries, hundreds of performers, and a worldwide audience of 180 million. This is Eurovision.
Is it true that the idea for this was kind of stewing in your head for decades?
It is true. I've been kind of sitting with this for close to 20 years after, my first trip to Sweden with my wife to see her family. And that's when we happened to watch Eurovision for the first time. And I was blown away by everything from the spectacle to the camp to actually legitimately how good some of the songs were, the whole wide array. And I just couldn't, it was 3 hours of television that blew me away. And I always thought this would make an amazing movie. And here we are.
I don't know how we don't have this in the States, because I got to be honest, I didn't know much about it. And then I got on YouTube and was kind of looking through all of the past performances.
Right. It would suit, I mean, you could see it happening here, 50 states competing, for the final thing. And what gets crazy over there is that you have the singing part and then you have the voting part, where you're not allowed to vote for your own country, and you have 3 rounds of voting, and the tension builds, and
it's incredible.
Everyone goes crazy.
When you were going through the past performances and thinking what to kind of use in the film, was there something that was almost too dangerous to even attempt?
There's always, we were in Lisbon, Portugal, I believe, and I think it was the act from the Ukraine, and it was a vampire rising up out of a flaming piano. And we're like, I don't know, that looks too big. Yeah.
Well, especially with Rachel's hair. She's got a lot of hair in this movie. I'd be nervous.
Who wants to hear a Eurovision song?
Fire Saga is the name of your group, and I just get a kick out of the fact that every time you guys perform, the only song anyone wants to hear is Ya Ya Ding Dong. What is that line from one of your past movies that if no one asks you to say it again, you will be thrilled?
Oh, Ma, more meatloaf.
Okay. Darn it, that's actually one of my faves.
I've had flight attendants do it over the loudspeaker as we're landing. Yes.
2 things. Thank you for the snow angel in the video. I love a good snow angel, and to see it performed the way you guys did in the music video, I loved.
That is high praise.
And Will on a trampoline with exploding lava behind him. Let's not forget about that. We were on a large sheet of volcanic. Actually, there's volcanic activity there right now. I don't think you can even go there. So we got there just in the nick of time. But yeah, it was real Iceland.
I know you've got a good voice, but how much of this was your voice maybe mixed in with anybody else, or was this all you?
Oh, sadly, no. It was definitely more of a mix. We worked with a amazing Swedish singer named Molly Sandgren, and David found our voices have a similar timbre. So he was very smart in choosing that. And so they do sort of do a blending. And then, I can't hit that Spjork note.
Oh my God.
that she could hit. So needed a little help in that department.
The music really is great though. There's some catchy tunes. I love the fact that every time you guys try to perform, all anyone wants to hear is Ya Ya Ding Dong. That's the only song. What is that song for you that it doesn't matter if you hear it a gazillion times, you love it every time?
Oh my gosh. Sarah anything by Fleetwood Mac, really. Harvest Moon by Neil Young. God, I love music so much. I'm trying to think. But yeah, those are 2 big ones.
Dan, this is the swag that we got. I can't even begin to tell you. A
You think
microphone.
that wasn't in your wardrobe already?
The boa might have been, but this definitely was not. Speaking of wardrobe, I don't even know where to start with your character. As funny as Will Ferrell is, I've been telling my friends, you are the scene stealer. You must have had a blast with this.
It was a lot of fun. I mean, those costumes did a lot of the work for me, and we had a huge amount of fun putting that together. And yeah, it was one of the wilder costume fittings I've ever had. You know, saying things like maybe more PVC. You know,
Right.
I've never really said that in a costume fitting before, I don't think.
You have to have kept some of the outfits. Is there anything that you actually kept or took home to your wife and said, you got to see this?
The one thing I did manage to keep was his diamond earring, which I have in a box.
The video for Lion of Love and that song, it is one of the cheesiest but fantastic songs I've ever heard. What is the cheesiest song that you just love, that you never get sick of, but your friends would say that's kind of cheesy?
I don't know. I mean, Lion of Love is a pretty great song. It's incredibly catchy. The whole cast and crew was singing it for weeks after. I don't know what my favorite cheesy song is really. I mean, there are some incredible ones from Eurovision history where you just think, okay, that's a terrible song, and yet you're singing it for weeks after. And some of these winners from the past are pretty amazing, and the real earworms get in there.
How has this not caught on in our country? I know we steal some pretty great shows from you guys, but when I went on YouTube and looked through this, I wasn't that familiar with Eurovision, and you're mesmerized. You can't look away. How has this not caught on in the States?
I know, it's pretty amazing to me that there's a whole continent of people who've not been exposed to this, because growing up in Europe, it's just you just know what it is. You're aware of it, and there are literally hundreds, thousands of hours probably to be had, diving into these YouTube wormholes of musical madness, and there's some really, really wildly diverse acts out there. And it's amazing.
So
and I think,
good.
people are going to have a lot of fun, coming to terms with the fact that this thing has existed for over 60 years
Right.
and they weren't aware of it.
I know, I left going, where have I been?
Stop laughing! I'm trying to fight you!
The punching scene, Will Ferrell gets to, well, I didn't even want to call it a punch, and you apparently didn't either, because some of the lines in there.
Like silky kitty fists in marshmallow boxing glove.
Just to be tackled by Will, I think, there's a scene in almost every one of his films where he has a sort of wildly violent outburst against somebody. And so I count it as a huge badge of honor to have been the recipient of a Will Ferrell freakout.
Hey, Dan, congratulations on everything that you've done. I had a pleasure of talking to you in person for Beauty of the Beast. Hopefully we can do this in person again.
I hope so.